you go into the gym, lifting those weights, you are basically tearing the muscles up, so that they can enlarge. But if you don't give them time to heal, to grow, they won't grow, basically. That's physically giving yourself time to pause. You're not a machine. Your body's not made of stone. Basically, the body is going to break down if you don't give it time to break.
Okay, welcome to another edition of the Journey to Freedom podcast, and I am Dr. B, your host. I just finished a podcast with an amazing individual. His name is Dr. Frank Douglas, and to hear he's from Guyana in South America, and came to the United States when he was right in the middle of civil rights. I think he said 8 days before Dr. Martin Luther King had passed, and so his journey. I would say. Toby, probably the most intelligent man I have ever met in my life. He told a story of, he goes, well, I guess with British common law, you're in Germany, and we'll talk a lot about where you grew. But he said that, I took the test. They didn't know he was Black or anything back in the 60s, where it didn't matter where in the world you were. You were Black. If you were trying anywhere that was a European type country, then you had issues. And he said, I scored the highest score, not only in his country, but in all the Commonwealths.
Oh, wow.
Then, so he came to America, got a Fulbright scholarship or something, ended up at Yale, got a PhD in chemistry, then an MD in some kind of neurology, but has a perspective that I think, both of us will be able to talk about and enlighten. And so if you have a chance to go back and watch that story, that would be great. But why I'm excited to, on this podcast is I get to talk to somebody that born in Nigeria, has now moved to Germany and is making a difference in people's life. And so, when we think about success isn't geographical. Success isn't, where you were born or what you're going, and your ability to become successful. It doesn't matter where you come from. In my belief system and how I see it is, when we talk about purpose and we talk about living in our purpose and doing what God put us on this earth to do. My prayer when I get up every day is, dear Lord, give me the wisdom to do the things that you put me on this earth to do in a way that pleases you and serves others. I don't think it's possible to be in purpose, and you can correct me later, if you're not serving others. I don't know, and maybe you could say my purpose is to, fish, in a lake somewhere by myself for all my life. I don't believe you. I just don't. I think your purpose has to do with somehow serving fellow mankind. Yeah. So, I know you're doing that, and the things that you have decided to do in your life and why you're where you're at. And what it is that it takes, we in the green room or whatever we call it when we're before our conversation, just asking things. He has a thing where he actually talks in the mirror, right? And I don't think when you talk in the mirror about whatever it is that he's going to explain to us, that you're doing it just so you can talk to yourself. I think you're looking at, okay, how can I utilize whatever I'm doing so that I can be more for the people that I serve and the community that I'm part of and the people that I'm going to interact with. And it's almost a practice probably, not only practicing for who you are internally, but practicing for who you're going to be externally as you serve people. Right. And you serve others. And so thank you for being on the show. Thank you for, taking the time. I told him, hey, he's in Germany and I'm in Denver, Colorado, and we have some pretty good internet. So you can't tell me that we get this stuff all around the world to help people. But I want you to start with your story. I want you to start with, a little bit about your life growing up and then, where you're at today. and why you do the things that you're doing. And then we'll move into mirror talks and all this other fun, wonderful, incredible stuff. So thank you for being on. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us all about who Toby is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. B. I really appreciate that introduction. And, I already love the energy that we're sharing even before we started recording. So once again, my name is Tobi Ojekunle. I'm originally from Nigeria. And I grew up in a family, my family of 7, both of my parents, and I have 4 other siblings. And we grew up basically in a Christian household. So I was brought up, in faith, basically, in the household of God. I was having a conversation some days ago, and I was saying, I had a feeling that we were going to church every day growing up, because it was like Sunday service, and then you have the Tuesday Bible study, and then you have the Thursday house fellowship, which happens to be at our house. I mean, my parents are like a center where people come over for Bible study again on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, sometimes you go for vigils, some night vigils. And then on Sunday, you go back to church. That's for me. Then I have my siblings and my mom who happen to be in the choir. They have to go for choir practice on Wednesdays, and they have to go for choir practice on Saturdays. So basically, we're just living in church.
7 days a week. Now, is the part of Nigeria that you came from, is it mostly Christian in that part? Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly Christian, yeah. So, it was like a Christian community, Christian environment, Christian set up. That also influenced the kind of schools I went to also. Like, elementary school was mixed, was more of a British school. And I was just, being the firstborn also, my parents had very high expectations for me. They wanted me to always be the best. And if I'm the second best, they'll be like, okay, you did well, but the person who was best doesn't have 2 heads, so you have to be, the best. So they kind of placed that fire within me to always strive to be better than I was yesterday. And also building up with faith, also having that God is the center of my life, basically. So that was like what molded my childhood days, like who I am today also, basically, like having the faith as the center point, and you knowing that you have to give in all your best in order to become who you are. So I carry that's my mindset and attitude throughout my elementary school and on into high school also. Like, starting out high school, the first year, I wasn't as good. I think I was in the top 5 in my set, and that for me was not good enough, because I was like, no, that's not what my parents will accept. I have to do better than this. Yeah. I mean, my parents were they had like very high expectations for me. When I compare myself to my siblings, I'm like, my parents were a bit much more relaxed with them, but with me, my mom was like, she was very, very, very strict with me, she said. So, but I really appreciate that. I'm really grateful for that, because that is what is pushing me even up to today, to keep on pursuing personal transformation, self-improvement every day, personal development also. And so, completing high school, in that journey of completing high school, I already had that vision in mind that I would not want to stay in this country for a long time, because I believe my dreams, what I want to do, would not be encouraged in such an environment. Like, Nigeria is a very blessed country, but because of different issues and circumstances, we don't have the best of education, or you don't have the best of opportunities once you're done with school. So I happen to have a dad that travels a lot around the world, and that also just planted that seed within me that, it would be nice for me to also travel out for my university at least. So having that mid-time, into my high school days already, I was already manifesting it in my head, already praying about it, already dreaming about it, and then asking my parents also how I could go about it also. And long story short, it didn't happen as I expected. So I faced a little bit of disappointment in that regards. But first year of studying in the university back at home, I got an email out of the blues that a school that I applied to a year ago in Germany has, re-examined my admission, my application, and would want me to, take up the next year of admission slot. I was surprised. I was like, oh my God, I was somewhere in Lagos, Nigeria with my cousins trying running an errand for my dad. I was planning that, okay, the next year I'm going back to school in Ibadan and I'll continue my education. And I got that email out of the blues. I felt like God was just like smiling at me at that moment, unexpected. Yeah, I was not expecting it. It was very, very, it was like a big surprise to me. But that happened and that opened the door to the opportunity for me to move to Germany about over 11 years ago. That's 2013, yeah, over 11 years ago. Or this is 11th year actually. And I moved to Germany and everything changed because I've been dreaming about traveling abroad. I've never really taken the time to think about the challenges that come with it. Do you even know anybody where you're going to? I moved to Germany of all countries. I had to learn the new language. I had to, find my way around the exchange rates between Naira, which is the currency we spend in Nigeria, and the euro that is spent in Europe or in Germany. It's, Naira is a lot of value when you have to convert the money. So I started to think about my parents and, them sponsoring me. I'd never worked in my life before moving to Germany. So I was like, oh my God, that's a new experience for me, moving into the education and working at the same time world. But along the line, I started the journey with a lot of challenges, adapting, learning the language, trying to make friends, trying to redefine myself. I would say redefine myself, know myself basically, because at the point when I got to this place, I noticed that I've just been growing up in a bubble basically. Like I said earlier when I started, going to church like almost every day, around my parents, around people of like minds, and now you're in the world all of a sudden, and you are with people of different faiths, people of different backgrounds, people of different mindsets, and you have to find your way around. And also having the fear that, okay, funds might not come from home anymore, combating with that, also with that fear, and trying to also keep up the faith, keep up the mindset of I have to, be the best of the best wherever I find myself. So also trying to stay up, up to standard in my education, working minor jobs, like I'm doing like different kind of jobs that I can't even, I've not even told my parents I did yet because they were like, why did you have to do that? But because I had that fear that I might not get the funds again from them. And I was praying actually. And at a point, I told God, I don't want to do this kind of job. I don't want to do any cleaning job anymore. I don't want to work at a restaurant. I don't want to make burger for anybody. I don't want to, go and work in the factory. And God opened doors for me, basically. I got a scholarship, which was able to sponsor me throughout my education, until the point where they asked me, okay, do you want to continue this? But I had to change schools because I wanted a better, more demanding school, and I could not get the scholarship anymore. So I got the scholarship as long as I wanted. And, I changed jobs also from doing all these cleaning jobs to working as a working student, like an intern, paid internship, all through my education. So it was like multiple sources of income, more than enough money for me to, pay for my upkeep, basically. So I was doing all of that from bachelor's and master's, also same routes, and then master's also, I said master's also, and then I moved into the, career world, basically. And up to now, I've just been, working and enjoying, what I always wanted to do as an engineer, like in my career life. And at a point, then came to the fact that I started missing some parts of my life because growing up in, trying to build up your career, struggling all the ways to, build up your portfolio and trying to complete school and make the best grades, I started to notice that there was a void in my life, basically, like in terms of, okay, what's happening to my spirituality, what's happening to my personal development as a person. And I started noticing that I was missing that conversations I used to have with my parents, all those conversations I used to have with other people out there, that, really spoke to me, learning from their lessons, learning from their journey, learning from how they live life and the mistakes they've made, and learning from all of those. And that's why at a point in my life, I said, I will want to continue with my career and, pursue greatness in it, which I'm still doing today. But at the same time, create time to intentionally have conversations with people like I'm having with you right now, Dr. B, also, to learn so that I can grow and develop myself as a full being. And my story is still ongoing. And at this point right now, I'm still continuous, basically, like trying to find myself every day, like not just climbing up the career ladder, but also becoming a better being, becoming a more rounded person. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. I know you say it's ongoing. Of course, it's ongoing. You're not in your 90s. You're ready to. You got a lot of life left in you. When we think about identity and who you are, and how you became who you are. I know you talked a lot about, 7 days a week in church as you were a child doing stuff, and that's probably shaped some of your identity. But so has Germany, and so has your experience in college and your experience as being an engineer. What are some of the things that you believe help shape an identity where a person can continue or begin to be successful in life? What are some key factors or things that people need to do to create an identity of success?
Yeah, I believe your community shapes your identity, like who you surround yourself with, who you associate yourself with, defines your identity of who of becoming great in life. Like I was listening to some talks in the previous days, and the preacher or the speaker was talking about, if a baby is born into a billionaire's family today, his identity is a billionaire already automatically. But some of us are not opportune to be born into a very wealthy family, and we want to become great in life. For that to happen, we have to associate ourselves with people with billionaire mindset, with millionaire mindset, with greatness mindset, whatever we're trying to achieve in life. It might not be money, it might be any other thing, maybe becoming a happier person. Associate yourself with people with happy mindset, basically. So I think who we associate ourselves with, it determines or forms our identity in life also, for greatness.
Oh, it's neat. One of the things that we were talking about earlier is you said pausing and the importance of pausing and taking a break and reflecting on life. And so over this time, and as you've been an engineer and you went to school, and what is the importance of pausing, and why do we need to pause? Or do we just need to go, 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 go? What? Talk to me about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I will rewind back a little bit to when I just came back, when I came to Germany, or even from my childhood days, basically. Like for me, my mindset, I'm still learning to outgrow that. It's just go, 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 achieve as fast, much as possible. Be efficient, time, wait for no one, hurry up, stand up, and it's the field. But I noticed along the line that if you don't take the time to reflect, just to take a break, you keep on making mistakes, and you think as long as I'm active, as long as I'm staying busy, I am making some kind of progress. But if you don't take the time to pause, to stop and reflect, and examine, try to examine what you've done so far. Look at your actions. Look at the results that have come out of it. If you don't do that, you might notice that in 10 years time, 20 years time, you've just been busy and active, and everyone thinks, oh yeah, Toby is a very active person and busy person. But what you're getting out of it is not right. But taking the time to pause and to really reflect and to really re-examine your life, taking stock of everything that you've done, trying to reevaluate your life helps you to know, okay, I think I made a mistake some months back. I made a mistake yesterday. And taking that lesson to make the next decision for the next day or for the next step will help you to make exponential growth. Instead of just doing the same thing and expecting different results every time, or doing the same thing and thinking, oh yeah, since it's working for me right now, it will keep on working. But taking the time to pause and reflecting opens your mind, enlightens you on what you could do differently to get better or to make bigger steps or make a bigger thrive in life.
Gotcha. Now we can, when we hear the word pause, I think it might have different meanings for different people. So physically, what does it mean to pause? And then mentally, what does it mean to pause in your viewpoint, and obviously somebody who's made it work and has taken the time to be able to do it. If somebody's like, oh yeah, what does that mean? Pause. It means I just go to work 10 minutes late. What is that?
Yes. So let's take an example of someone who goes to the gym. You work out a lot and you train those muscles. You have your goals in mind. Okay, I want to have bigger muscles or stronger muscles. It's important for you to take the time to pause, basically, so that you give the muscles time to grow back. Because if you're going to the gym, lifting those weights, you are basically tearing the muscles up, so that they can enlarge. But if you don't give them time to heal, to grow, they won't grow, basically. So that's physically giving yourself time to pause. Like also when you are going at it every day, you're working, the body is not it's something, it's just making me remember back what we say back at home. Like, you're not a machine. Your body is not made of stone, or it's not made of wood. Basically, the body is going to break down if you don't give it time to break. And let me take it back to the Bible also. So on the seventh day, God rested. God himself rested on the seventh day. That's his pause. He rested on the seventh day, and afterward, he continued his work as God, as who he is. So that gives us the tip that we should not give up. Pausing means taking that time just to relax. Just to look back and say, oh yeah, what I did was good. Like God did also. He said, oh, he created this. I said, oh, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. And if it was not beautiful, I'm sure he would have said it, oh, okay, this needs to be adjusted a little bit, or it needs to be improved. So taking a break helps us to regain our energy, regain our strength. Mentally also, it does the same thing. It helps our brain to relax, to re-energize, and helps us also to re-strategize also ourselves. It helps us to prevent ourselves from burnout also. Like, it helps our brain just to cool down, because the brain also is a muscle and it keeps on working a lot. Given that taking a break helps the brain to relax and prevents us from depression, helps us, it helps the brain just to be able to come back to a calm state, which is void of depression or negative thoughts, basically also. So physically it's very important, and mentally also very, very vital for us to take those breaks.
I'm really intrigued in part of our conversation, and so forgive me if I'm drilling down, but I think it's important to pause, and I think it's really important to let yourself regenerate and let yourself grow. And I love your analogy of, our muscles and needing to rest in order to grow bigger and to grow stronger. It's part of the process that makes it happen. When you say relax, because I know some people struggle with this word relaxation. You say, well, just, pause and relax. What does relax mean to you, and how would somebody achieve a relaxing state? Because sometimes people will tell me, yeah, I'm relaxing while they're running a 10-mile run. And to me, that's not relaxing, but to others, it is. Yeah. So what's your thoughts?
Relaxing could be different things to different people. Sometimes I tell my friends that I'm also relaxing and doing some other activities, and they're like, that's not relaxing. So sometimes I could tell my friends that I'm relaxing because I have a TV on, watching a series or a movie, and I'm still on my laptop trying to settle some things. But for me, that's a relaxed state because I'm on the couch and just relaxing. But relaxing to me means taking your mind off your day-to-day activities, taking your mind off the problems, taking your mind off the challenges that you have, and just trying to calm down. Like, relaxing to me, it means intentionally taking time to breathe, basically. Sometimes I sometimes just sit down with a cup of coffee, read a book. That's for me is relaxing. Or sometimes I intentionally just leave everything off, switch everything off. I even time myself sometimes. I say 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't want to think about anything. I don't want to answer any emails. I don't want to be on any gadgets. I'm offline for 30 minutes. And that for me is relaxing. Yeah.
Offline. I like offline. That's a huge, that's taking the screens, the a thing that dulls your mind on a lot of time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that. One of the things that, so I'm a chaplain at a rehab center. So which is, folks have already been in the hospital, they had a stroke or they had a back surgery or hip surgery or something like that. Now they're at the rehab center. And, so my job, I tell everybody I got the best job at the hospital because I'm not a doctor. Medical doctor, and I can't fix you, and I'm not going to clean up after you, and I'm not, any of those things that people come in and stress about. I say it's a relaxing time for me because all I get to do is listen to your story, pray with you, and then you're there for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you're gone. And so to me, that's super relaxing to be able to do that. And then some of the other things you go, well, maybe this isn't so relaxing or so fun to do, reading a book. When you say that, I've seen people read books about their job. Like, how do I do this? Right. So no, that book is not a relaxing situation for you. Right. That's not taking your mind, off of what's going on. I know, like I listened to, my grandma grew up on a reservation here in the States, so I'm part Native American. And, so sometimes I'll listen to Native American flute music, which is very calm and relaxing. And, we'll go to bed. And then my wife's Hispanic. And so she says, well, why don't we listen to, Mexican music? And so I don't know any Mexican relaxing music. That's not my culture. I didn't know it. So I put on mariachi music, and she said, this is not relaxing. This is like we're ready to get up and go dance and do stuff. So I think even the things that we believe for some people are relaxing aren't what's really relaxing for us. It's what you said, taking away what is stressing your mind, what is on your mind, what is, constantly part of what worries you about what's going on in life or energizes you about what it's just taking that break away from some of those things. So, I appreciate that. Yeah. Let's, you brought up health and you brought up, you going to the gym and doing stuff. What are some of the things that you do to stay both healthy physically and mentally? Because I know those two, if people try to separate them out, and you can work on your physical health and don't have to worry about what's going on in your mind, or you can work on your mental health and not worry about what's going on with your body. I don't think you can do both of those simultaneously and have well-being or be healthy. What do you do, or what are some things that you do to combine both of them or to stay healthy so that you get to live longer?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. And that's something that I've been working on also for some years also myself. And one point in my life or my daily routine where I thought I could really work on to make this happen is in my morning routines. Like I'm kind of a person that I wake up in the morning. What I do right now basically is wake up with gratitude. Basically, that helps my mental health. I'm thanking God for a new day, but for me personally, it helps my mental health just to already place me in a place of in a positive mindset. Like today's going to be a great day. Yesterday, what happened yesterday is gone, and today is a new chapter, it's a new page, and it's going to be beautiful. And then something I've done to help my mental health also is basically reading. Also, like I said, having a faith-based background, I keep on with that, like just reading devotionals in the morning or reading books in the morning with a cup of coffee, and then after I'm done with the part of what I want to read for the morning, I move on, take my mats and work out basically. So I use the app. Well, on this app, I have like different groups of muscles that I work out every day with the instructions, and I do the workouts like calisthenic or with my body weight, basically do the whole routine for like half an hour, and I check that box that yes, for my physical health, I've worked out, I've trained, I've stressed my muscles a little bit for that morning, and then take a shower, and then I could start my day, start work for the day. And I try my best also for my health, for my physical health also, to go on walks a lot. Like I enjoy going on walks. Like, I believe that it's very important for us to walk. I learned this from my grandparents. My parents told me that my grandparents walked a lot, and that's why they lived so long, like to over 100 years. So I was like, okay, I know this is so modern. I live in a very modern place, and it's modernized age. I'm no longer like my great parents who were farmers and had to walk, kilometers because there was no transportation. But regardless of that, I try to find the opportunity to go and walk. So my office is like 20 minutes walk away from where I live. So I said, okay, that's not too much. So in the morning I walk to the office and I walk back. That's like 4 kilometers every day that I walk. So for me, I put that as a check, my checklist. Yes, I've done something for my physical health also. Then, for mental health, I also try my best to, like I said, reconnect with friends, with family around. Like being in a place where I don't have a lot of people, a lot of family. I try to, find myself in a community that helps me to grow in my faith, in my career, and I try to connect with them out of, work hours, out of my day-to-day work to help me also grow personally. And I believe once you keep on growing, you stay healthy, and once you stay healthy, you'll be able to live longer in this life. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, that's basically what I do. I'm a kind of simple. I don't have so many. I don't have 1,000 things I do, but I just have those like very simple things I do basically. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're doing something. I mean, are you walking alone and spending all your time working out alone? Are you doing it with others? Does that energize you being with other people, or is it you're just kind of an introvert that gets that stuff all by yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, in my day-to-day work, I work with a lot of people. I get to work with a team, but with workouts, like when I do my exercises, I do them alone mostly. I think I was talking to myself. I think on my way back from work today, I was saying, no, I think on my way to work this morning, because I always have this conversation with myself in 20 minutes to work. And I was telling myself that my most vulnerable time every day is basically when I walk out, I would say, because it's at that time I get to scream if I want to scream. I get to not cry, but, talk to myself and, sometimes just try out different workouts that pushes me basically. And I don't think I want anybody to see me in that kind of situation. So it's like I do the workout for myself and just, keep it that way.
Well, let's talk about and switch over to mental health, because some would say, you talked about mirror talks. Somebody you talked about talking to yourself. You talk about, just that journey that goes into your mind of things that make you healthy. And we talk about, personal development and growing. Talk to me about these mirror talks and the things that you say and how that helps you both mentally. I'm sure it helps us physically too. If we're in the right state of mind, then everything that we do flows. So tell me a little bit about what that's all about.
Yeah. So positive mirror talk. I believe that our minds are very, very powerful. And there's a lot of power that is on the tip of our tongue. Like what comes from out of our mouth is very, very powerful. So combining that together, can help us to achieve whatever we want to achieve in life. I'll go back to my story a little bit. So growing up, maybe because of some people around me or me personally just having low self-esteem, I grew up, with a little bit of, insecurity. I believe maybe I'm the only one that grew up with insecurity, but I believe some people also grew up with insecurity. Like, compare myself with people and saying, oh, the size of my head is too big or my ears are too small. All those kind of insecurities, basically. I was saying, oh, I'm not as handsome as that person. I don't think I'm attractive enough to be around with, or maybe I don't speak clearly enough. So that kept me in a kind of corner growing up.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got to, from reading books and listening to speakers, I got to learn that you can always manifest whatever you want for yourself in your life. And also, in the Bible too, like I just get to learn about, people speaking things into existence. And I was like, okay, I would love to try this. I mean, this is something that I would love to do. So I changed something about myself. Like, I'm someone that, in the morning or after taking a shower, I like to stand in front of the mirror, comb my hair, and, maybe cream my body and get ready for the day. And I noticed that I get lost in the thought of looking at myself and not loving who I am or who I'm seeing. Then I said, this is the point. This is something about me that I have to change. Like, once I catch my reflection in the mirror, I'm going to seize that moment to start speaking good things about my life and start appreciating everything that I think are flaws in my life. Basically, I started to appreciate them. I started to appreciate the way my eyes look, the way my lips are, the way my head is, and the way my ears are. Every part of my body, I started to appreciate them. And I started to do that over and over and over again, and trying to also speaking, words of affirmation to myself, like, oh, I am strong enough, I am capable enough, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, that's one thing I was repeating in my head over and over again, because at some point in life, you start to maybe lose it, or you start to feel discouraged, and sometimes it takes you to pick yourself back up, basically, from whatever dish or whatever load that you're feeling at the moment. Sometimes your friends, your closest friends, your family will not understand what you are going through. But positive mirror talk is you basically speaking encouragement into your life, speaking life back into your life, speaking that's wonderfulness back into your life, putting you back on track, basically. So for me, my journey, just looking at myself in the mirror and just telling myself that I can do this, telling myself that, yes, it could be difficult, but I'm here for a purpose. I'm on this earth for a reason. And today is a day that God is going to prove himself worthy in my life for me to be able to, do it. And he that placed me here will give me the strength, the capability, the resources I need to be able to fulfill this purpose. So that's for me, having that positive mirror talk, converting all those negative thoughts that, oh, you're not good enough, you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, who will listen to you, you can't, who are you to even start what you want to start? Changing all of that thoughts and converting them into positive thoughts that could help you. For me, it's positive mirror talk.
Okay. Can you give us a 10-second version of what that looks like? I mean, you're looking at yourself now. I mean, you might not have it written down. Maybe give a 10, 15-second version of what that looks like, just so people who are trying to duplicate it or see it might be able to see that.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. I mean, so I'll start with very, very, very superficial things. I look at myself in the mirror and I touch my eyes and say, oh, I love my eyes, my very attractive eyes, my healthy complexion. I'm grateful for my healthy complexion. I'm grateful for my hands. I place my hands up and say, I'm grateful for my hands. I'm grateful for my arms that are strong. I'm grateful for my head and for my brain that is very smart. I'm grateful for the wisdom, for the knowledge, for the understanding that God has blessed me with. I say that to myself. I'm grateful for my heart that keeps on beating all the time, like touching my chest. I'm grateful for my healthy heart. And then I go on to say, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like, I am capable to be able to do this. I didn't get this opportunity because someone pitied me. I got it because I am qualified. I am qualified to be here. I'm qualified to be in the room. I'm qualified to be where I am right now. And I'm going to do this work, and I'll be favored, and I'm going to be blessed, and I'm going to be appreciated for the great effort that I place into my work. And I also say that I will surely reap the benefits and the fruits of all my efforts, because I'm working hard, and I'm doing everything I have to do in order to get to the next level, and I'll surely get to that next level.
Thank you for sharing that. That is so neat. How do I know? We talked a little bit at the beginning, or I talked a little bit about being in purpose and knowing you're in purpose. And how do you know, first, how do you know that you're in purpose? And then how do you, what are some things you do to make sure you're doing the things that you were put on this earth to do? Because I mean, that's what purpose is, right? I talked earlier about serving others, but how do you do that? How do you know you're in purpose and then walk a life of purpose?
Yes, to be able to know you're in purpose, you always have to have that check in mind every time. Like, asking yourself this question: do I still feel at peace doing this thing? Do I still feel comfortable doing this? Will I still do this thing even if I'm not paid for it? Like if I don't get any applause from anybody, if nobody claps for me, if no one sees me, if I show this to my friends and they don't appreciate it, will I still continue doing it? If the answer is yes, then you're in purpose. Whatever you're doing is what is meant for you to do. And so is this something that we have to ask ourselves, maybe not on a daily basis, but as frequent as possible? Anytime, at least latest when we start feeling, doubtful about it, asking yourself, am I still at peace with this? And also reminding yourself of why you started. Why you started will remind you also of if it's your purpose or not. If you started it because you wanted to please somebody or because everyone else is doing it, then maybe it is not your purpose. Yeah. But if you ask yourself, oh, why did I start this? Your why should be able to always remind you. Your why should always remind you of why, of your purpose, basically. If it's your purpose or not your purpose. Yeah.
Cool. Are you living in purpose? You believe you're living in purpose?
I believe so. I believe I'm living in purpose, yes.
Gotcha. That is, it's so important that we're there, becoming that person. Talk to me a little bit about personal development. Like, how much do you believe of your day is spent on improving yourself? And then how important is it to become the person and stay in purpose is to continue to be? And maybe what some of the things you do in order to develop yourself?
Yeah. I'm going to be very open with you and transparent. I would say, in the last month, I've been maybe slacking in this regard in terms of, having a daily personal development journey. But I would say, I'm so blessed to have a podcast where I speak with people and interact with people, read about people. And that gives me a daily dose of self-improvement, because I get to read about a lot of people's stories and learn from them and have conversations also with people. But personally, putting the podcast aside, my goal and what I do for personal development is to read books, listen to podcasts also, like not my podcast. Journey to Freedom podcast, for example. And
there we go.
Yes, exactly. And other podcasts too, and other resource materials. Watching YouTube videos that helps me to grow spiritually in my career, also to grow in every area of my life, in the areas that I need help in. So for me, it's noting those areas I need help in every phase of my life, and then looking for the resources. So I dedicate maybe an hour every day to watch a video, 20 minutes during a workout to listen to a podcast that that touches that area that I need to grow in. That's what I do.
Gotcha. Well, just knowing that you're either like a flower, right? You're either growing or you're dying. And, if you're not spending time, well, and I know I can tell you just from your upbringing and your belief in God, that part of your plan for personal development is getting closer to God and stuff. And so kind of talk to me a little bit about how you're integrating your faith and who you are on an everyday basis with, what other people expect you to do, or how you show up in places based on your faith and how that's integrated. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh, yes. So for me, I believe who I am is surrounded. Exactly. My faith is basically in the center, and then who I am is, around it, basically. God is in the center of it all. And I would say in the early ages, or when I was younger, sometimes I feel so shy and try to hide that part of myself. I don't want everyone to know I'm a Christian, or I don't want to know anybody. I don't want everyone to know that I believe so much in God like that. But growing up, I got to know that I have to hold on to that, because I should be proud of who I am, proud of my identity in Christ, basically. So how do I integrate that in everything I do? Basically, it's just me exhibiting the fruit of the Spirit, like being kind, being patient, being love. I believe God is love, and that's the most essential thing that the whole message about God for me is love. In everything I do, I try my best as a human being to bring in that love that I can into it. And I believe that way I'm able to, reflect the identity of God, because I believe, like, the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. And the Bible talks a lot about love. So for me, I believe that for me to show myself and to integrate my faith into anything I do, it means for me to bring in love into every space I find myself in. So I try to do that, try also to be honest in everything I do, try to be open-minded, try to have an open ear to people, try to be accommodating, embracing. And that way I believe I bring in the image of God into everything I do also.
What's the future look like for Toby? What, in your mind, if you could paint a picture of your future, what does that look like? Okay.
I mean, when you first asked that question, I was like, my run-to answer was going to be, my future is in God's hands, and whatever I say, my future is.
That's
always like a very easy, lazy run-to answer for African like myself. I'll say, whatever God says my future is going to be, that's what it's going to be. But my future is, I believe my future is a progressive one, basically. Like, it's me continue on my journey of growing, of becoming, a better person, better than like yesterday, and also reaching out to more people, like, with the podcast that I do, with the outreach that we have through the podcast. Like, one of my main goals in life is to touch and impact the life of my generation and people on earth. And 3 years ago, actually, we started that with, giving to orphans in Nigeria, to the homeless people. And I believe in the future, it's going to get bigger than that, like, helping people, sponsoring people to go to school. Like, growing up, I am very blessed that I have my parents that, did all their best to give me the best education I could get, and they could afford also. And there are a lot of people out there who don't have the opportunity. So my future involves me, increasing my outreach in order to increase my impact, also to help people out there, maybe to sponsor them to school and help them also on their journey to have a better life also.
Do you stay in Germany?
Yeah. Most probably. I think I will still stay here. I love Germany.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, when you can find a home and you can find a place and family, you're going to raise a family and.
Oh yeah, that I forgot to add that to my future. Sorry, but it's part of it. It's part of God's plan for my life, basically. So everything in God's plan for my life, involving the family, settling down. And right now I'm still single, but yeah, my future is going to involve me having a family, stable home, happy home, up by God's grace, and having a well-rounded life, career, purpose, mission, and family. Everything well-rounded.
Cool. What we've talked about a lot of things, and I think they're important in being positive stuff. What did we not talk about that you want to make sure that you tell folks about as they listen to this broadcast?
Yeah, one thing I like to tell folks about is they should never underestimate the power of their thoughts. Like, it's very important. Sometimes we just, of course, it's very important for you to allow the thoughts to flow. Allow your thoughts to flow, but be very conscious of what kind of thoughts you accept. Allow the thoughts to flow, accept them, listen to them, yes, but you have to know the one that you accept into your life. Like, okay, be able to create a filter to know if it's a positive thought or a negative thought, if it is true or it is false. And you have the power to be able to filter that out yourself. I think that's very, very essential, because sometimes, it's important to allow thoughts to flow, but sometimes we accept all these negative thoughts that, creep in from time to time. And that way, and accepting those negative thoughts, slowly, our thoughts shapes our life in a lot of ways. So if you allow negative thoughts to creep in, it's going to shape our mindset, shape the path that we are on in life. So I just want to say it's very important to be conscious of the kind of thoughts that you have and the ones you accept and you allow to, stay within you. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you for taking the time today and spending. I have been enlightened and taking a whole bunch of notes, and I think I got my mirror talks all ready to go. As I think I wrote a book that was called "There Is No Tiger," which is based on overcoming overthinking and controlling anxiety. Yeah. And a lot of the things that you talk about, like breathing how important it is to make sure that you're taking those breaths and breathing, and when things get stressful and things get moved on, that we're doing those things. But at the same time, to have this positive outlook in life, right? And to know that every day when you get up is a new day that many other folks don't get to take, right? There's so many people who didn't wake up this morning. And if we don't take that and we don't move that forward in our lives, then what are we doing here? And then, I keep coming back to that, where we're figuring out how do we serve others. And I can tell that's something that you do through your podcast and through the things you do. How can people watch your podcast? How do they connect with you? How can they further, check out the things that you're doing?
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I mean, to follow our work or follow our journey, you could just visit our website, which is www.mirrortalkpodcast.com. And there you also find information to all our social media platforms. I mean, the podcast is available on all podcast platforms. And from there, from the episodes, you could, follow us on the journey of growing, basically. Like, we are all work in progress, and with each episode, with every conversation, we learn new things. Like, I'm learning from you also, Dr. B, and also from me speaking to, I'm taking some notes in my head, like, okay, I have to still work on this, work on that. Like, that's to tell you how much imperfect I am, because I'm like, oh, okay. I see. So, I mean, that's the best way you could reach out to us, like on the website, and from there, our social media platforms too. You get to
cool. Well, and I hope that you guys take advantage of getting on the podcast and seeing what he has to say, and listening to the guest that he has on, because you can tell if we were to say success leaves clues, and we're interviewing and talking to successful people of color in this. Especially men in this podcast here, there's some things that we can learn from each and every single person. And so I hope you do the YouTube things, you subscribe, you hit the notification bells, you do the things that we have good content that everybody can learn from, that everybody can grow from. And Toby, you have been just a pleasure to be able to talk to. I love your energy. I love the fact that hey, you're not letting anything hold you back. You're willing. Some people say, well, I'm willing to relocate. This is folks in the U.S., right? Away from my family and away from the people, and they go like 5 miles down the road. Like they go from one side of the suburbs to the other side of the suburbs and say there. You literally left your home country and moved all the way to Germany. And to start a life and to make a difference and impact. And you created a home there. So I just commend you for that. And thank you for that time that you're spending on you, working on you, because I know you're going to be successful. So then... here we go. June 31st, 2024. I am doing a goal setting workshop. That workshop is all about, setting goals that you can control in your life. And you may, Toby, appreciate some of this. And so one of my core beliefs is that if you focus on your goals, you will struggle. And so I say, what am I doing in a goal setting workshop? If you're going to struggle while you're focused on your goals. But at the other side of it is I want you to focus on the systems that will allow your goal to come to fruition and then come to life. And if you can create those systems last for a lifetime, not just until you achieve the goal. Because once you achieve the goal, then what's there's left, right? If my goal is to eat for 100 meals in the next 80 days, that's all I'm gonna eat. Then what happens after 80 days?
That's true.
Your goal set and you're done. But if you create a system that allows you to be healthy, because that's why you're setting the goal to eat right over the next 80 days, right? And so if we set that goal to be healthy, then that's something that we can do. And so free workshop, anybody that wants to come to it is more than welcome to come. If you are watching this after 2024, December 31st, it will be recorded. You'll be able to watch it and see it from there. And so thank you. Go ahead and do the podcast things like subscribe and all those things that you will enjoy. Toby, thank you for being on today. Hey, I want everybody to know that you were God's greatest gift and he loves you if you allow him to. And we will look forward to talking to you on the next one. You guys have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Toby.
You're welcome.